Hi, Lisa. So I understand your exam is coming up, so let's get these back to you as soon as possible. We've got the rainfall in England. Let's see what you wrote. Okay. The line graph shows the amount of rain in England, Scotland, and Wales in each month of 2018. In general, the amount of rainfall in Scotland and Wales varied a lot, presenting a massive rainfall range throughout the year. In contrast, England had ups and downs levels of rain without any major span. The driest months were February and March, while the rainiest months were March, July, September, and October. Okay, so this is good overall. I'm not really a huge fan of the word variated. We usually just say varied. Feels a little more natural to me. And the things that I want to mention are the following. First of all, I didn't understand this. Presenting a massive rainfall range throughout the year. Okay, I think I understand what you mean. But this was awkward. England had ups and downs level of rains. The best word that you could use here is fluctuating levels of rain. Okay? But this too didn't make any sense. What does that mean without any major span? So I didn't understand that at all. And then I thought this didn't really feel like an overview. It really felt more like you were getting into quite a bit of detail. So I wasn't really a huge fan of that. So my suggestion would be something like, this was fine. And then in general, the amount of rainfall in Scotland and Wales varied considerably, while England's rain was less volatile. So something like that would be okay. All right. Okay, let's continue. England showed the smallest range of rainfall during the year, with 50 milliliters of difference between the highest and the lowest. Okay, amount of rain. Fine. This country presented 3 broadly similar peaks of rain. What's going on with your grammar here? This country presented 3 broadly similar peaks of rain in July, September, and December. Okay. Scotland's rainfall fluctuated through the entire year, having opposite peaks at the beginning and end of 2018. It presented the lowest amount of rain among all 3 countries, with 20 ml in February. This should have continued to be the same sentence, not in opposition to, but as opposed to March, July, and October, when it rained over 100 ml each month. Okay, and then Wales. You can't really say this. Wales plunged its level of rain. How about this? The rain in Wales plunged in April to 25 ml, and after a leap in May, it fell again in June. Moreover, from August to October, the amount of rainwater remained constant at a low level at approximately 40 ml. Besides that, Wales presented 3 peaks of rainfall in May, July, and November, with over 100 ml each. Okay, so apart from what we talked about in the beginning, I thought you did a good job of this. I thought you focused on some of the important elements here. You focused on those peaks, you focused on those lows, so that was good. If I could correct a few things, I would try to maybe have a little more variety in some of the expressions. Like you kept saying, I felt like you kept saying at least, it presented. I saw that at least 2 or 3 times. Here it is, presented. So that got really repetitive. And there were other ways you could have done this. You could have said, this country had 3 peaks, or let's see what else you could say. This country experienced 3 peaks. All right, one of those things would be fine, but definitely want to see a little more variety in the expressions used in the vocabulary. Yeah, that was something important that I noticed. I liked, like I said, I liked that you pointed out the highs, the lows. That was good. I thought maybe you could have had just a little more detail. Where was it? Where you said it rained. Where was that? Let me look at one little thing. Right. So here you said it had 3 similar peaks of rain in July, September, and December. So should I assume that those peaks were 125? I mean, I'm assuming that that's what you meant. But I thought that maybe you could have just written this in a way that was a little clearer. Let's see. England showed the smallest range of rainfall during the year with 50 ml of difference between the highest and the lowest. Okay. This country, how about experienced these peaks? Okay, since you're talking about the highest, these peaks of rain during 3 months of the year, July, September, and December. So if you had said something like these peaks, I would have understood, oh, okay, they reached 125. So that was the kind of thing that maybe needed to be a little clearer. So essentially what we're talking about here is cohesion, okay? Because cohesion is linking ideas and making sure that the progression and the kind of connection from one idea to the next is clear. So that's where I felt it kind of got lost a little bit. So it's not like you didn't have the information. You maybe just needed to connect it in a way that was a little clearer, okay? And some of your expressions here, like we already said, this was incorrect in opposition to, should have been something else there, which I've already talked about. But all in all, it was good. As a rule of thumb, when you have like a year, then when they're showing you a year and they show you the progression over time, I always like to start at the beginning. Okay. And this isn't true. This is true of any time you have one of these dynamic charts where they show change over time. For me, it's important to show where things started and where things ended. And then, of course, the important times during the year. It's like you're essentially telling a story. You want to talk about the beginning, you want to talk about the end, but you also want to talk about the key points in the middle. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right, let's take a look here about fathers who stay at home while their wives work. Reasons, positive or negative. Okay. Experts throughout both you're missing a word here, the developing and developed world have debated gender roles in society. Nowadays, more fathers are staying at home with their children than before, whilst mothers are doing the inverse route. Okay. I personally believe that the main reason for this change is the increase in gender equality between men and women. This essay will demonstrate points and prove arguments using examples from the United Kingdom and UK government. Okay, you didn't say if it's a positive or negative. Okay, so I'm going to jump on a limb and say you assume it's positive. So I personally believe this is a positive change, the main reason for which is the increase in gender equality. Okay, so that's all you really need to do, just that little addition. But you do want to show that you have acknowledged that it's a 2-question essay and that you're going to address both questions in your essay. The central reason behind this, it's called reversal with an AL. The central reason behind this reversal of roles is twofold. Firstly, the noticeable reduction of gender inequality due to more people becoming, without the R, aware that women and men, E, are equals, which might also be happening because the media has changed how families are portrayed, AYED. Now, I want you to be careful with this sentence. It's really long. It had a number of errors in it. I tried to correct them along the way, but it's just too long. It's a lot of stuff going on. You should have broken it up into at least 2 sentences here. Okay? You could have done something like this. The first reason behind this reversal of roles is twofold. Full stop. Firstly, let's see. Okay. The noticeable reduction of gender equality is responsible because more people are becoming aware that women and men are equal. Full stop. This might also be happening because the media has changed how families are portrayed. Okay, so you can see I broke it up into a couple of smaller pieces. All right. Secondly, the increase of protection of human rights as a whole, not in a whole, as a whole, throughout Western countries, especially in virtue of new laws protecting gender. Okay, that's not a sentence, that's just a fragment. You have to be careful with these. Okay. So what you could have said instead was, secondly, another reason is the increase of protection. So you're missing some key parts of the sentence here. For example, an extensive study by the UK government showed that over 50% of the children interviewed believe it is normal that their fathers stay at home instead of their mothers. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that media representation and laws have changed society's behavior. What we need to do is we need to take a look and see how on topic this was. The questions is what are the reasons for fathers staying home while their mothers work? So you basically told us there's a reversal of roles, and you said that men and women are equal and that media is playing a role. And then you start talking about the protection of human rights. And then you said this thing about children. Some of this kind of lost me, okay? And I would have liked, I think, some examples that were a little more specific, okay? So you said that more people are becoming aware that women and men are equal. All right, so here maybe you could have given us an example right there, which would have been something like, for example, a study of, um, I don't know, 20,000 10 to 20-year-old or 10 to 18-year-old children said that fathers can do the same jobs at home that mothers have traditionally done, just as mothers can do the jobs outside the home that men have traditionally done. Okay, so you could have said something like that was a little more related to what this issue is about. Um, and then here you were talking about the media, but I didn't really get the sense that this was entirely relevant. You mentioned it here, how families are portrayed, but you never really told us any examples of the media. You know what I mean? You told us that there were laws, okay? Um, but there wasn't really anything about it. So maybe you could have talked about that a little bit. Maybe you could have showed us um, maybe some examples where you've got men who are staying home with children but the mother is working that we can see in the media. Are there any celebrities that follow this? You could have made it up, okay? Or you could have just, we needed a little more direct support for the ideas that you um, were kind of putting out there as your main ideas, okay? So I didn't really get the development of this paragraph, okay? All right, let's continue. Um, let's see. Moreover, it is possible to state that this ongoing change is promoting a positive development in Western societies. Careful, there's no S here. This is due to the fact that gender roles are being defied and reducing sexism as a consequence. For instance, a child brought up in a home where their father used to take care of him will be an adult with an open mind about the subject. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that fathers staying home while mothers work are representing freedom for people to do whatever they want without being apologetic for it. All right, that's nice. I like that. Still think that maybe you could have had a sentence or two more. You were talking about the fathers. Maybe you could have talked about the mothers. Just a little something. I don't know. I mean, it was good. I liked it. I want to make sure. I want to see where you are with your word count. I'm assuming this is over 300 words. It feels like it's over 300 for sure. 320, 330. Oh, 320. I was right. Okay. Yeah, it felt like it. So it's fine. Maybe you could have reduced this a little bit and maybe you could have added just a little bit more to that paragraph. Let's see. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that society is heading the right way by defying the existent gender roles and stereotypes. It is predicted that the increasing gender equality development will continue to grow in importance in Western countries. Okay, I like that. That was good. Um, you had some really nice grammar here. Okay, I'm sorry. You had some really nice vocabulary here. Things like gender inequality, gender roles, stereotypes, sexism. So you had some really good vocabulary here that I liked. It was very topic specific. It was relevant. It was very good. So that for me was the strongest part of this essay. Grammar was also fine. Nothing really stuck out. Just a couple of mistakes throughout. Okay. But for me, what I really wanted you to focus on was the task achievement portion of this, making sure that you're answering the question, making sure that your support um, is relevant to the ideas that you've expressed as your main ideas in the paragraph. This is really important. And that you're covering all parts of the task as they're asking you. Okay. So, um, yeah, I thought you focused in general quite a bit on gender equality. I would have liked you to focus on mothers and how this affects them, fathers, how this affects them. Um, some of those things in this paragraph. All right. On the whole, it's good though. I know your exam is tomorrow, so I want to wish you tons and tons of luck. You're doing great. Keep in mind some of the things that we've been talking about throughout the program, throughout the course, and I'm sure you're going to do great tomorrow. Okay? So, best of luck to you. Please do let us know both how you do on your test after you finish, but also of course, when the results come out, we'll be really excited to hear how you did, okay? So, once again, good luck to you. I look forward to hearing from you. Wishing you just all the best.